All right. Good evening, everyone. Today, in this day, we're going to talk about what?
We're going to talk the epic story about Nibelungan. And let me introduce myself and the people around me. My name is Aditya Rizky Ramadhani with the number 123 12324 1223. Ben?
All right. My name is Mionian Benaya Mangalapa. My student ID is 123-241-225.
Hello, my name is Anissa Ahmad. My student ID is 123 22076.
Hello, my name is Pia Gracia Hana Rumbewas with student number 123-24131.
All right. So today we're going to talk about the legacy of Nibelungan. How to spell it? Nibelungen or
Nibelungan.
Nibelungan.
Yeah.
All right.
So today we're talking about the story of Nibelungan. This saga written in 1000 and
13th century.
13th century.
Yeah, 13th century, the medieval era.
So it means what years?
1200?
Yes.
1200s to
Before.
1300s.
Yes.
Oh, before the World War One, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Way before the text. Yes. The story itself is actually not written at the first, right?
Yeah. So it's a how to say it?
It's a legend that was told by oral from one person to another person.
Yeah.
Okay. And this story itself, it's focused on the main character. What is it again? The Siegfried, right?
Yeah, Siegfried.
So the character it begin with Siegfried and Bernhild,
Brunhild, Gunther,
Hagen,
Etzel,
Exel, and
Etzel.
who the others?
The main character.
The main character.
The main character Kriemhild. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there's also the main character Kriemhild.
So
Okay.
how's the story?
So the story began from the Burgundians. It took place in a city called Worm, and there was two siblings called Gunther and Kriemhild.
Oh.
And then back then there was a knight, like a I don't know how to say it, but he became a vassal to Gunther. His name is Siegfried. Siegfried was kind of a peasant that was from a lower area of the worm, and then he kind of became the loyal person to Gunther, and then Gunther has this kind of a mission, a quest to marry a queen of Iceland.
Who's the king? From this kingdom?
I think from this story, it hasn't been interpreted like the subtle character of his father and mother. So we can only focus on Kriemhild and Gunther as her brother.
Oh. So Gunther and Kriemhild is a brother and sister.
Yes.
Kriemhild is the sister and the Gunther.
Gunther is actually the king and the brother of Kriemhild. He's also the one who giving Siegfried a mission to conquer a dark dragon or a bad dragon?
He has to slay the dragon, and whoever
The dragon.
yeah whoever successful to slay the dragon, he can gain immortality by bathing in their blood.
Oh yeah.
So that's what happened to Siegfried.
Siegfried. Yes.
He became immortal. He can kill any lions. He can kill any bisons. He can
With his
kill.
sword.
Yeah.
Sword.
Yes.
So he also has like invisible rope where he can be invisible
Yes.
if he wants to attack his opponents. So it's kind of it's kind of amazing for the character like
Mhm,
that.
mhm.
So that's why Gunter used him to
Concur.
conquer.
Utilize his
Yeah,
mission.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So this mission is actually about Gunther wanting to marry a queen of Iceland,
Oh, who's the name?
whose the name is Brunhild.
Burnhill. All right.
But Brunhild is actually he's kind of have a word before he can marry someone else, that if someone want to marry Brunhild, he had to, what is it? He had to fight with Brunhild, and
He has to be the number one.
yes, exactly. He
Number
has
one
to,
soldier.
yeah, number one soldier and defeat Brunhild in a fighting.
Yeah.
So it means for merit Barnhill,
Mhm.
he have to be the best.
The best soldier, yes,
The
yes,
best
the
slayer.
best slayer, the best soldier. And Gunther, with Siegfried and his cloak of invisibility, gaining his, what is it? Gaining his advantage. Nah, and then the story goes, Brunhild, in the short, long story short.
Oh, we forgot one promise that Gunter made to Siegfried.
Oh yeah,
Sieg-
yeah. I forgot about it. Yeah.
So Gunter made a promise to Siegfried because Siegfried
Wanting- fell in love.
fall in love
Uh-uh.
with Kriemhild. So he made a promise that if
Is it forbidden to fall in love with a?
no. So Gunter made a promise that if Siegfried can help Gunter to win the battle,
All right.
Mhm.
he will let Siegfried to marry.
Oh, Kriemhild.
sister,
Yeah. Oh, and that's why Siegfried want to help Gunther, because Gunther had promised him
That he has to
that
marry.
he has to conquer Brunhild and his kingdom, and her kingdom, to marry Kriemhild.
Kriemhild.
Yeah.
So that's where the story began.
Mhm.
And then the story unfold to Brunhild find out that
Siegfried.
it's not
Oh, yeah.
Gunther is not actually the one who win the battle. It's
Mhm.
actually Siegfried.
Yes.
So
With cloak of with his cloak of invisibility.
yeah, so that's where the part of Brunhild feel jealous and also feel angered for the fact that she got betrayed by Gunther and Siegfried. So she plotted a vengeance against Siegfried, but with the help of his husband's other vassal, that is Hagen.
Yes. Hagen is actually a loyalist, a loyal knight to king, and because
Right.
yes, to Gunther, and because of Brunhild in this story is actually a queen, a wife of a Gunther. So Brunhild given order to, what is it again? Hazel, Hagen. Giving order to Hagen to slain Siegfried, to backstab Siegfried, because
Siegfried has a one.
one weakness
One
in his back.
weakness on his back.
He's not practically immortal, but he doesn't have a weakness beside his back.
Unless his back.
Yeah, unless his back.
So he's Gunther step him on the back, or
No, it actually not Hagen. Not Gunther.
Gunther.
Not Gunther, but it actually Hagen.
Hagen.
Yeah.
Hagen
From
from what kingdom?
No, Hagen is actually the vassal of Gunther.
Vassal of Gunther,
yeah.
the loyal knight, the loyal knight. After was it after? Oh yeah, Hagen is actually not only because of he's the loyal knight of Gunther, he also driven by envy and greediness of what is it?
The Nibelungen secret.
Admire.
No,
No,
Secret
Admire.
Admire.
There's like a secret fortune that is hidden and only Siegfried that knows where is the fortune is.
Oh, yeah, that's why Hagen killed Siegfried from behind because he's envy with what Siegfried had and he doesn't.
Have.
Yes, have. I'm sorry. Pardon me.
Maybe Fia want to.
Why he have to kill him?
Oh. After this story is actually after Siegfried died in the hand of Hagen, Kriemhild, driven by vengeful seeking Etzel, right?
Yeah, she married Etzel from the kingdom of Hun to um, to to execute all of her enemies that killed his beloved husband,
Yep.
her beloved husband.
Mm-hmm.
And then she asked Etzel and her brothers to invite Hagen to have a feast with her. And in that feast, it turned into a massacre because Kriemhild successfully killed Hagen and her brother. And then ultimately, Etzel was kind of feeling overwhelmed about his wife actions, and he has to kill his wife in the end. So this whole plot is so, what would I say?
This plot is actually full of
The plot is actually twist.
blood,
Twist.
anguish, and vengeance. It starts with Brunhild killing Siegfried because of vengeance also, and then Kriemhild killing Hagen also because of vengeance.
Or maybe Gunther want to just her body. I mean, in the marriage, he just want her body.
Brunhild body.
Yeah, Brunhild.
Of course he
I
does.
think it's also highlights the feudal system in the medieval era, that people married because of political advantages.
Yeah.
So they married another kingdom. So it's for a political relation.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see that Burgundians want to marry an Icelandic so they can have a political relation there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they can have a strong bond between
Yeah.
them. Oh.
They can have like a trade or political alliance in the war, or maybe just preserving their power.
That's actually makes sense. Oh, and we forget to tell you that actually Gunther and Kriemhild has two other siblings.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Who's that?
Let's forget about their name because after all, they're dead. They're dead because of Kriemhild think that they actually have their what is it? Have their part on this plot of killing Siegfried.
So it's like what's name?
Siegfried, Kriemhild?
No, yeah, Kriemhild.
Uh-huh.
It's like she have a revenge
Yes.
for who's name? Before?
Siegfried?
Can you use
No,
the
he killed.
microphone?
He killed siapa tadi?
Kriemhild.
Kriemhild.
Yes.
He killed who?
Kriemhild kill practically everyone in this story.
Oh.
Gunther.
Yes, he killed everyone.
Yes.
Is that because revenge for her
Husband.
husband?
For her late husband.
Oh, so he killed all of them in this story because of revenge.
Yes. And I don't know if it's true, but in my side, the action of Kriemhild that is supported by what is it, Etzel, is actually for Etzel's own advantages, because like Burgundy, right? Burgundy is actually a kingdom, and they have bond with Icelandic kingdom. So Etzel and his own kingdom seeing this as an advantage to take down a too powerful kingdom.
So
What are the the main themes that you guys think in this story overall?
For me, it's about the story of loyalism and vengeful.
For me, loyalty and love is actually kind of side by side.
Oh yeah. They're
Because-
walking side by side.
Yeah, loyalty and love. Loyalty and love.
I think for me is the main plot of all of this is betrayal.
A betrayal.
Yeah, because like
Because
Bernhild
everyone betraying each other.
yeah.
Bernhild got betrayed by Gunther, and
Yes.
then like
Siegfried.
got betrayed by Hagen and Gunther, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
all of this, the main victim of all of this is Kriemhild.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's no betrayal in this, it would be over in the first chapter.
Yes. Brunhild and Gunther doesn't even gonna marry each
Yeah,
other,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But we can say Kriemhild is the villain because
No. That's a wrong point of view for me.
yeah because she sakit hati. How to sakit hati?
She got heartbroken.
Yeah,
Heartbroken. Yeah. She got heartbroken because of his late husband is killed by his own brother or sister-in-law actually, and that's why who is it? No, Kriemhild killed everyone. Practically killed everyone. Someone actually have to blur it what I say because that's inappropriate. Oh my god. And what do you guys think about this theme in a modern era? What this thing?
I think it's like a Ramayana and Dewi Sinta story.
I feel like we can
Ramayana
see.
and Dewi Sinta story, it's about love.
Yeah,
More
but-
than
no, but-
about love, but I think this story talk more about
Betrayal
in our
and-
era. It's like politic, I think.
Politics in our country or
Yes, like that.
No.
Oh, no.
No. We're not going to talk about our political era, but let's talk about it in another time, okay? For me, I think it's different from the Ramayana story because no. It actually have some point, same point because Rama is actually betraying Sinta's trust and love because when Sinta captured by Rahwana, he's not touching Sinta at all, and Sinta actually built a like barricade between her and him. But let's talk about Ramayana later.
We can see that this kind of theme is popular and can be seen
Yes.
in other legends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Not only in now eras, but in back then, a romance like this is actually very common because in the other story of saga like Lilat and the Odyssey, it's actually has the same plot because like Odysseus came back from Trojan War after 20 long years sailing the sea and caught his men killed in the way.
I think if we can see from Bernhild herself that she is an Icelandic queen, I think that what I'm reading is Nibelungen relies heavily on the Norse mythology,
Alright.
and it's from Scandinavian.
Oh yeah.
So for me, I think that this story is kind of telling us that it's an integration of other mystic story or other legends, and there's like migration of Scandinavian people coming to Germany in that time.
Yeah.
So they have this kind of combination of culture in the story.
So that's why we have a queen of Iceland, Brunhild.
Alright. So I think that's all about. Oh, you had some point.
Yes. For me, if we about to compare this story that based on Norse mythology and the Lilac and Odyssey that based on Greek mythology, is actually have some different or slightly different theme, because if we're talking about this epic saga story, we can see that it mainly focus on human and what can human do to others, like Siegfried, Hagen, Grimhild, yeah, like that. But if we're talking about Lilac and Odyssey, we're going to heavily focus on what it called divine intervention. That God itself back to the human world to give a divine intervention, like Zeus, like yeah, some kind of that. So
You can see the divine intervention in here too, like
Okay.
how Siegfried used the dragon's blood
Oh.
to immortality.
Yeah. For his
But there's still
advantage.
a weak spot in him, implying that it's fated for him to die, but not immortal.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
just wanting to gain from the dragon's blood, but he still cannot outrun his fate that he will gonna
Yeah.
die
Yeah,
someday.
Yeah. As a mortal, we can't divide our fate, because fate is written.
We can run from the death. Maybe we immortal in healthy and
Strength.
yeah, but we can run from the death.
Yes.
When the days comes to you, it's gonna
You will die.
You will die,
you will death.
definitely.
I think that Nibelungen is the odyssey of the German history itself, because I think that Nibelungen impacts a lot in Germanic literature and also Germanic culture,
Mhm.
that they emphasize on loyalty and then patriotism. And we can see that in Germanic history too, like after World War One and then after World War Two.
Yes. That's maybe all from us, because
Yeah.
it's going too late. Like
I think
Yeah.
if we continue this conversation, it will be like longer. Like
Yeah.
another 20 minutes.
So
Maybe that's all from today's podcast.
today's episode of podcast. Thank you
Yeah.
for listening, and
Don't
Goodbye.
don't forget to subscribe.
don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
See you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you.